Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be looking at some disc brake pads. And this is a brand that I never have used before. I typically buy my brake pads off the internet because I'm picky about my brands, but I needed to get back on the road fairly quick, and I figured it would probably make a good video to review these pads that are made by O'Reilly's. Well, they're sold by O'Reilly's, and this is the brand BrakeBest, and this is the ceramic brake pads. Now these pads are actually manufactured by Bosch. That seems to be the general consensus on this, and as you can see that they have quite a bit of features that are typically seen on some of the better pads like the ones I get from Napa. Now let's look at what's inside. Inside you're gonna have the pads and you're gonna have hardware, and this is what it looks like. Now these pads are manufactured in India, so they're not manufactured in China. I know sometimes that makes people kind of nervous. India does have a good production of stuff. And I mean, it really all depends on the brand, really, more than the location. What kind of controls do they have? So it includes 4 pieces of hardware, which is good. These are the front brakes. Each of the pads is carefully packaged or protected in this paper packaging, which has kind of a funky smell to it, but doesn't matter, just for packaging purposes. And here's the pad itself. You can see that it has a nice quality. The print, it looks very nice, very sharp. Some kind of date coding on here, coding or serialization. I love that because it tells me that there is some traceability in terms of if there was an issue, you can go back and eventually the factory can find out if this is an issue of a specific set of pads that are affected or a specific production date. This is pretty good. Now this bag has a built-in shim, so this is a little soft, probably like rubber material, and that reduces any noise that it might make against the caliper. It also has this built-in guide. What this does is as the pad reaches its end of life, so it's going to get thinner and thinner. Eventually this little clip will contact the rotor and it will make a squeal. And when that squeal is heard, that means that it's pretty close to being finished. So this is a sound indicator of when the brakes need to be replaced. Now this right here is built in onto it. This helps push and keep the pad correctly located within the caliper. On the other side, you can see the ceramic construction of it, and this is what they call ceramic molded. The ceramic pads are really known for being less dusty and also being the higher end in terms of cost. Now that doesn't mean that they have the best stopping power. Best stopping power is typically acquired with the semi-metallic pads, but semi-metallic pads can be noisier and can create a lot of dust. So this is a nice in between. What you see on here, these are copper, embedded pieces of copper or other materials in here that are all held together with epoxy, and that helps dissipate the heat. That's the other thing with the pads that are made out of ceramic. If the car is being used in an application where you are subjecting the brakes to a lot of heat, such as a racing application, autocross, the ceramic pads are not going to dissipate the heat as well, and the heat is going to be dissipated into the calipers. So the brake system will suffer a little bit more wear and tear by using this because it's trying to dissipate the heat through it as opposed to the pad. Now on the metallic ones, because most of the material is metal, it is going to help dissipate the heat better. So the ceramic ones definitely are going to be for a daily driver, somebody who wants a quiet ride and doesn't want a lot of dust. And the metallic ones are going to be for somebody who wants high performance, does not mind the dust, does not mind additional wear and tear on the rotor. But these are pretty neat pads. I'm actually impressed with how they look. And they're retail for about $50. These pads are going to be installed in my Dodge Neon SRT4. And this video is primarily just about the review. If you're interested in seeing how I install the pads, I'm going to put a link on the description below so you can see the actual installation process. So this is what they look like, this is what they come with, and this is pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to go install them, and then afterwards I'm going to take the car out for a drive, and then I'll come back with my final thoughts on them. Normally I will tell you how the brake pads perform, but I didn't even get to install them. There was a problem with the O'Reilly's BrakeBest brake pads. Let me tell you what it is. So it turns out that the hardware that came with the brake pads, which are these 2 shims right here, were of the incorrect size. The shims are supposed to be inserted into the caliper like this, and once they're fully inserted and locked down, they shouldn't rub against the rotor. Same thing with the top one, it should be able to go inside and snap in with enough clearance for the disc to be able to rotate. Now here's a close-up of the front caliper. The red line shows the gap required on the shims in order for them to clear the disc. Now here is the correct shim on the top compared against the O'Reilly's one on the bottom. On the correct size shim, the space is about 1.25 inches, about 1.25 inches. On the BrakeBest, we can see that the space is a lot more narrow, probably by about 1/8 of an inch or maybe up 1/4 of an inch. It's just a tremendous difference when you are trying to install this. It just won't work. So there I go. I take the BrakeBest back to O'Reilly's, get in line, wait for my turn. They call me up and I show them and explain the issue. And the guy understood. He was helpful. He understood what the problem was. But he believed it was only the hardware in that kit that was affected. And unfortunately, it was the last pair of pads that they had at the store. So I'm really, kind of, I feel like I'm wasting my time, a little frustrated. So the guy says, well, go to another O'Reilly's and see if they have the correct hardware there. So here I go. I drive to the next O'Reilly's, get in line again, wait and wait until they call me up. And they finally bring the BrakeBest pads out. And sure enough, the incorrect hardware again. So I know for sure now the issue is what those kits are being put together. They don't fit the SRT. I suspect they are including the hardware for the standard stock Dodge Neon brake calipers, well, brake discs, because they're a little bit thinner, not as thick as the SRT4. And I said, just give me my money back. Here you go. And too bad, because I really wanted to try those pads out. But anyways, if you guys are in a need of sets of brake pads, I have placed links in the description down below for brake pads with the correct hardware. Also, I have a lot more product reviews for the SRT4 and also repair videos and maintenance videos for the SRT4 coming up. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next upload. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.